Welcome, my friends, to beautiful Monday afternoon. City of Woburn. Seems like I'm freezing since the winter time, though. Maybe it'll come out to be a little better than 50 next week. All we're doing is getting 50s and 40s, and I don't seem to be able to walk down the street or play around in the yard with a t-shirt on. But it can't stay like this for very long. Of course, you can see, when the camera comes over here, you can see that Paul's not here. He's down in Cambridge, in Central Square in Cambridge, or one of them squares in Cambridge. He's getting signatures to repeal the casino law. Now, that sounds kind of funny from a guy that likes casinos, but he's very, very adamant about the fact that he wants the law repealed. And I think I'm with them on that. I mean, I don't think about it. I am with them because the whole thing's been a mess ever since the medical marijuana in the casinos. This was jobs. This was a bunch of baloney right from the beginning. We got people on there that raise money for politicians, lobbyists. Can't remember. I forgot I was a partner of his way back in 10, 15 years ago. I'm not going to recuse myself. The new mayor of Boston is going to sue everybody that he sees because he wants to have something to say about where the locations are, one in Everett and one in East Boston, or one in Revere, I should say, and one in Everett. So the whole thing is just a big mess. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. It's almost like a movie. You couldn't write it up any worse. So let's just repeal everything and start over, maybe. Or maybe not even start over. I think we've had casinos in Connecticut for how long, I don't know. I don't go there, so therefore I really don't pay much attention. But I know they've had them in New Jersey, and that was going to make everybody in New Jersey pay no taxes. And I don't think it's even done a lot for Atlantic City. And I guess the only place that they are very successful with the gaming is in Las Vegas. So, I mean, if you want to go to Las Vegas, it's a beautiful place, people tell me so. If you want to go there, go and have a great time. I hope you make $1 million. But as far as I'm concerned. And the other thing is, people have, since we said this last week, at the end of the program last week, we both agreed that we were going to vote to repeal it. And then people call and say, yeah, that's a good idea. So the gang is in on this now. So don't be surprised. If you want to have casinos, you got to come up and come up with a pretty good argument because I think they're in trouble. But this is going to be a very, very, very interesting thing. And ultimately what's going to happen, I suppose, is the Supreme Court, like everything else that happens in this state, the judges end up making up the rules and regulations and decide what's going to happen. So that's where we are with him, and that's why he's not here. So let's go on with I got a little note from the boys up at Wyman Street at Spence Farm on Saturday. Paul Medeiros and his crew, I think it's Saturday, May the 3rd, 2014, at Spence Farm from 9 to 1, we're having Shred Your Documents. Now that's being sponsored by Mayor Scott Galvin. He hosts this free document shred event to help Woburn residents fight back against identity theft. So if you shred up all your documents and nobody will be able to steal them and get into your computer or into your Facebook or find out all this information about you and empty out your wallet, take your stuff up there that you want to get rid of, and they'll be very happy, and it's free. They'll be very happy to shred it for you. And I know you've probably seen the name of the company. It says Shred right on the side of the truck. And I think you go up there and you throw it in there and it just chops it all up into little pieces of paper. So we'll do that. That will take care of Saturday for now. So Paul asked us to do that, And when people ask us to do something, we try and help them out. Now I have to stop saying that. I keep saying that, now. Every time I want to change the subject, I say, now. Stop it. Okay. A new floor plan was requested at the restaurant. Peter Mamekos, he's the owner of the restaurant, a great guy. You go down there periodically and have something to eat. He's changed the situation there at least once that I can remember since he started, and now he wants to change it again. And I want to ask you this, the people on the city council, ask him all these questions about what he's going to do. Where are the chairs going? Who's going to do this? You're going to take down a wall. You're going to put up a wall. You're going to do ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. It's almost like, come on. This guy has been a great addition to the city of Woburn. He's very involved in helping people in the city of Woburn. If you need anything, you just ask him. He's very cooperative. But that doesn't stop us from trying to keep track of what he's doing. The funny part about it is, in my experience, is that over the past year since the first restaurant came to Woburn, basically, the first big one was in '99. Mr. Dole from Winchester was the owner of the 99 restaurants. And he came over to East Woburn and he wanted to build a restaurant, which he did. It's still there. And then people go in there. The fire department has to get a copy of the fabric and all that kind of stuff, because when there's a fire, some of the stuff that burns in the booth could be very serious. You know, the building inspector, or the building commissioner, I should say, I think one of his people, have probably go over there and measure where the seats are, the booths, make sure there's room for travel and back and forth. You know, so there's not congestion in case there's an emergency, everybody can get out, no problem. And now all this comes up, he wants to change the floor plan at the restaurant. Now, everybody, I think a lot of people know where the restaurant is. It's right down just at the northern end of the center, right next to the parking lot there. What's there? Used to be Lucia's Market, but I forget what is a medical store right across the street, another restaurant across the street too. But anyway, my point is that they ask all these questions, blah, blah, blah. Since I've been doing this program, there's probably been 100 or 1,000 special permits given out by the city council. Once that special permit goes out the door, no one, and I mean no one, checks again. The city council has no employees. They give out special permits, but they have no employees outside of themselves that can drive around and look and see where they want the dumpster to put in. They gave a guy a permit, 10 years ago to put the dumpster over there in the snow, and it's probably been changed 10 times. But you're not supposed to be able to do that. It's just kind of annoying that when somebody comes in to make a change, I answer a lot of questions that I don't think are really relative to running the business or keeping the business in the city. And then once he goes out the door with the permit, nobody's ever going to check. No one. Nobody's ever going to check. Unless somebody goes by there. I'm sure the Board of Health's in there all the time. The building commissioner might go in and make sure the doorways, the fire department, I'm sure, is in there periodically. I'm sure the policemen get the coffee in there once in a while. But basically, there's no city employee that goes in there and checks on the special permit that was issued to him when he went there. So that just kind of annoys me about how, at least I watch it on TV. The city council meetings, that's one of our requirements here at the station. We're required to have the city council meetings and the school committee meetings. I watch them as often as I can, but it gets kind of annoying when they get a little bit off base. I don't know why. They like the sound of their own voice or whatever. I like the sound of my voice. That's why I'm sitting here. All right, the state treasurer, Steve Grossman. I don't know how many people are interested in the election that's going on now. We have an election in the fall for governor. And Mrs. Coakley, she ran for governor. and didn't win. And so she's running again. And Mr. Grossman, he's the state treasurer, so he's running against her. And the interesting part about this, the little article that was in the paper, is that he's tried to be governor for the past 10 or 12 years or so, and he hasn't been successful. This guy's got a lot of money, and he's a very, very nice person, I guess, and he'd probably be a good governor. I think all of them probably are relatively good at what they do if they're allowed to do anything. So Mrs. Coakley, she goes by the way of the Woburn City Committee. So she'll come to town, she'll talk to the Woburn City Committee, all the active Democrats, and say, okay, I need you to get the votes and help me out. Okay, that takes care of her. Now Grossman, he's trying to do it a little different. He's going around to Lions clubs, chambers of commerce, talking to the aldermen, some of the active people in the community to see if he can't generate some votes that way. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe he'll invent it. This is like trying to invent a new way to get a lot of votes. And I think he might be onto something, because I don't think city committees, whether Republican or Democrat, and whether it's Woburn or Wilmington, I don't think it makes any difference. I don't think people are as active as they used to be. I don't see it anyway in my experience of riding around the streets of the cities that are adjacent to us. I don't see large activities of Democrats or Republicans or anybody out there, so I don't know what they wait. I suppose you have to wait till the end. But these people trying to become governor have a big state to cover, so they have to get to Woburn and get out to Bellingham and all these other places in the meantime. So maybe they come to Woburn, they may never be back before the system is, before the election has been had. Letter to the editor, Nancy Ciccini. Sorry about that, Nancy, if I didn't pronounce your name properly. She thinks the mayor should get his raise right now. Pay more to the mayor now. Well, Nancy, I don't agree with that, because I don't agree that the mayor probably shouldn't get it. I don't agree with any of the philosophy that was put out there. You get better candidates if you pay them more money. You get this and you get that, and the mayor, the town manager, or Mayor of Melrose and Malden and Winchester, and we go around. The human resources lady goes around and asks everybody how much they make, and then that's just like a thing going up. You know, she does it for the fire department, police department, everybody. She just goes out and says, how much do you guys get paid? And they all say $100. So she says, well, how much are we paying Woburn? Oh, $100, because everybody else gets $100, so they should get $100. I don't buy that. I'm not buying that. And I'm certainly not buying you get better candidates because you pay them more. The problem is, I think I said this last week, first of all, it isn't their money that they're giving away. They sit down there and are making their $9,000 to $10,000 a year, and they say we should pay the mayor $123,000. Well, if they were paying the money out of their own pocket, the mayor would be making $25,000 a year. But since he can get me and Ms. Gatter and Lauren to pay the bill, then they can just say, well, give him as much as he wants. Just give him as much as he wants. We just put it on the taxes. It's no big deal. But that's really not the issue. The issue is all these politicians will run for office on a no new tax pledge. All right? So on a no new tax pledge, you can't go around giving out raises of that kind of money. Now, it's way out there. It's 2016, 2018. It's way out there. So he's going to, if Scott was going to stay there, he would have started the job off at $73,000, and in 2018 he's going to make $123,000. Now, that's a pretty good raise. That's not a bad raise, you know. I never made $123,000 in my life. I probably never made it in 2 years in my life. But I wouldn't mind. I'd be a perfect candidate for mayor for $123,000 a year. You better believe it. I'd be banging on every door in the city saying, I need the money. Just elect me. But this, without trying to be too facetious about it, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot say, I will not vote to raise taxes, and then raise taxes or raise the mayor's salary. Where's the money supposed to come from? So that's my argument. So I say until you fix it so that the mayor can get an automatic increase of 1% or 2%, maybe every year, or somehow they do it, periodically. But don't let 10 years, this young woman who wrote this article in the Times, she says the mayor hasn't going to raise it since the year 2000. Well, that's, whose problem is that? I didn't see him, he hasn't sent a letter down there saying I need more money in my salary. And all of a sudden these other guys who all run on a no tax pledge are giving out raises that are outrageous, and they don't think anything of it. So just remember that when they're running for re-election. And ask them when they come banging on your door, why'd you give a mayor the big raise? You don't want to raise taxes, but you want to raise his salary. Who's supposed to pay that? So fix the system. 2014 Boston Marathon, Woburn Police participate in security efforts. The Woburn Police Department was spread all over, I can't say all over the state, all over, let's say, all over eastern Massachusetts. We had police officers in Lexington, must have been up early in the morning to get over there. They shot her around the world. They were in Boston, I think on part of Heartbreak Hill maybe, and then they were at Anderson. I don't know what the deal was at Anderson. That's our railroad station over here in East Woburn, but I think that part of the security was to make sure the trains and the people that were in town would be able to get in and out and all that stuff. So that's good. That's good that the Woburn Police Department was recognized. I'm sure they all were bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. And people come from different communities along the route and see a nice, fine-looking young officer there with a Woburn Police uniform on. That's good. That's good. I like that. Night of Blues, May 17th, to feature the Brian Templeton Band. President Deva, Joe Simons, and Mr. Murray. Those are three guys that started this operation up. I had an opportunity to interview Mike Devon and Bill Murray here, and before they even got started on the first Blues for Veterans at Library Park. And since then they've had 3 or 4, and they're having more. The next one I think is going to be on Armed Forces Day after the May 17th one. So they're cruising right along. These guys are into blues music. Now, this isn't something that I'm not. I missed a music gene somewhere, So I don't know why, but I did. But these 3 guys are into music, and Murray and Deva, I know particularly, are into guitar music, fiddles, and all that kind of stuff, and blues. And this Templeton gentleman was the host at Library Park. And now he's going to be the entertainment on the night of May 17th. So get over there and make a crowd, make some money. It goes to veterans, so it can't all be bad. Dave and Buster's update. Dave and Buster's, now you get a penny if you know where Dave and Buster's is going. I think everybody knew that a couple of months ago, but they must have said, well, it must have been the wrong place because I drive by there every day and I don't see anything happening there. But anyway, when they came in and got their permits and got all their ducks in a row, they had a young man's name on the application as the manager, which the City of Woburn Licensing Board requires. And now, before the building's even built, they're changing the manager, so that requires them to show up and explain to David Gilgun why they're changing managers. They haven't even got a building. And the Crestview Plaza seeks the first 2-day license. Now, this gets a little complicated, and I don't want to give bad information. So maybe I just shut up on that. But just let me say this, there's a way to get a one-day license. And over the period of years, the Boys Club and different organizations, Greek Church, have got one-day licenses to have alcoholic beverages. And now I think a new group took over the old Boiler Drum upstairs there, the Crestview Plaza, and they don't have a liquor license there now. So if you want to have a wedding there, you hire them. They will put on the show. They will come to the city, get a permit, have a liquor license, and then everybody can have a few pops on your wedding day. And that way they don't have to pay the big fee for a liquor license that's not being used all that much for the rest of the year. So that's the idea behind that. I don't want to go into it much further than that because I really don't know. The 99 restaurant over in the West Woburn, I believe, is closed today and tomorrow, and may be opening, grand reopening May 1st. And they're going to have their grand reopening on May 1st is to benefit the Boys and Girls Club. Now, I think that's a pretty nice deal. They have to, these people go into these restaurants and they tear them all apart, clean them all up, and then they want to have a grand reopening. And I think to have a grand reopening and get a crowd over there, donate a few bucks to the local Boys and Girls Club, they really appreciate it up there. And that way everybody's happy. So congratulations to the grand reopening of the 99 restaurant in West Woburn. An increase in $714,000. The district struggles with mounting special education figures. Now, this has something to do with the budget, the school budget, and there's another thing down here with the school budget. So let's just move down. We'll just pass that for a minute. So we're going to put special education over here for a minute. All right. We already talked about raising the mayor's salary. I'm not against raising it. I'm against the way the process works. Tri-Community Bikeway. Tri-Community Bikeway includes Woburn. Winchester takes turn on Bikeway. We've had this Bikeway going for a couple of years now. My alderman, I think Mr. Gately has been, doing the best he can to try and get things going. But it's just not a good deal, I don't think. But they want to have it. I'm going to say, let's go for it and let's see how it works. Because I don't know how you can get on a bicycle at Stoneham and ride it safely to Woburn Center and down Main Street, on the old tracks now, not on Main Street, but on the old tracks, down to Winchester. And when you get to Cross Street, there's a building there. Because Winchester, they went way ahead. They sold all that land. The train was on, built buildings, and been getting taxes for a long time on it. Well, you go down from Minnesota's store to Cross Street in the city of Woburn, it looks like a dump. I think we made a big mistake by not selling that off to the abutters a long time ago, because this Tri-Community Bikeway just doesn't seem to be able to get there. All right, school. Seeking a $2.6 million in new funding, the school board finalizes budget at $54,200,000. Now, the mayor says, Mr. Donovan, the superintendent, you get 4% of last year's budget. And last year's budget, I don't know, probably was in the high 40s somewhere. So if you multiply that out, you could get a lot done for 4% of $40-odd million, that's for sure. But they voted, school committee, in their wisdom, they voted, and they're at 5.1%. So they're 1.1% over what the mayor said. So that's part of the argument there. So whether the mayor will agree and they'll compromise and get half and half and all that kind of stuff, I don't know what'll happen. But now we go back up here to special education. It's one of the reasons why the budget is so high for the school department. And the $714,000 increases. Okay, you want to get a pencil? I don't care, but you don't care. I'll repeat it if you have to. That will include one special education teacher, a nurse to assist a student with severe medical needs, a psychologist who will join 4 other elementary school level staff members, each one of whom is currently conducting around 300 evaluations and assessments a year, a social worker, and 3 new paraprofessionals. Now that's all relative to special education. So if you want to come up here and bounce special education around, I'd be glad to entertain it. But it's a very, very difficult situation. I've said this 1,000 times on this program, that the person who's running the special education department now, we might as well give her a little gaff here. Kimberly Lawrence, very, very difficult job. And I said this 1,000 times too. She has a difficult job because she has a fiduciary responsibility to the parents to provide an education for the children. And she has a responsibility to me not to go spending crazy money. So that's where we are. Now, apparently, she came up with this figure, and that's what she thinks she needs to be able to educate these children. That's all well and good, except it gets to a point when the money begins to add up. You know, the guy says, 1,000 here, 1,000 here, pretty much adds up to a few bucks after a while. The thing of it is these laws have all been passed, and everybody knows this, I keep repeating it. These laws have all been passed in Washington, D.C., and everybody in Washington, D.C. said, look what I did. I provided all this education for all these children that needed it, these IEPs and all this kind of stuff as far as special education is concerned, an individual education plan, that is. So they don't put any money in, though. And then it gets down to the state, and the state, they do the same thing. They do the same thing. They say, oh yeah, right, we're good, we do great. Massachusetts, we're at the top of the heap as far as special education is concerned. We're not like those other states that don't do anything for their children. We do stuff for our children. But they don't provide a nickel either. Not a nickel. So what are you supposed to do? So the city of Woburn is responsible to educate the children. That's the law. So there's nothing you can do about it. So she comes in and says, I need this much money. The mayor says, I only want to spend this much. So we'll watch and see what happens. I'll have to say that on the mayor's side, and I admit the mayor's a friend of mine, on the mayor's side, over the past couple of years, he's made them stay to a rigid number, but he's promised them that if they needed extra money during the school year, that he would provide it. And I think he's mostly done that. So if I'm wrong, call up and tell me I'm wrong. And then we can correct it, and then we'll go from there. But that's basically the school budget, and I'm sure the mayor and Mr. Donovan and some of the school committee members will be sitting down, whacking that around for a little bit. Merrimac Street okayed CN Wood. We talked about that last week. It's a good company. They deal with heavy equipment. They have a good product. They'll be around a long time. The gentleman that owns the company, Bernard, I don't know his first name. I know Bernard. He's a very well thought of young man. And I think his family is there too, so they're doing very well there. The Woburn Community Educational Foundation. You know what that is? That's that new group that got together. Maureen Willis is executive director, and she is out and about now. She's a person who can write grants, goes out there and asks for, I don't know if she asks for money, but she'll be around to all these organizations and companies, the Atlantic Gel, and I'm sure Cummings and all these companies, seeing if they can't donate a little dough to the school department, and then she'll buy stuff and donate it, I guess, to the school department. Right now they're having a little kind of a tribute to the teachers. So I think that's part of the deal. So it's just the Community Education Foundation. And everybody that's on there, I can't find their names right now, but if everybody's on there, you know who they are. And they're upstanding Woburn citizens, some school committee members. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not in favor of it. I'll have to hold my judgment up for a while and see how it goes. In fact, what I was thinking of when I was writing this afternoon, I should ask Miss Willis to come in here, and that way talk to her a little bit, and then we'll have a better idea what she's going to do, and then I can say whether I really like it or not. Ms. Gatta, do we have, is there anybody that we should be talking about? Is Rain around today? No. Okay, because that's the first day back to school. He's probably still sleeping. What about weather? Do we have weather? All right, look at this. 40, come on. What's that say there? Oh. Wow, I'm not too bad on Wednesday. Is that Tuesday, Wednesday, 47? How can I play? You can't play golf when it's 47. You know, you can, but it's just not right. Tiger Woods wouldn't play golf at 47. He'd be playing when he's 47 years old, not with 47 degrees. All right, thank you very much. Well, my last little bit of news, I think we talked about this last week, is the NuPath, which is an organization that does a lot of good work in the city of Woburn, has their Taste of Spring on May the 7th. So, go to it. May the 7th. The shoe will be there. Vinny the Shoe will be there. He's the Easy Gourmet. He's here. He has a nice little program on this station. And he'll be there walking around and talking to some of the people who are providing the food. And you get an idea of what some of the food tastes like before you go to the restaurant and spend your money. And NuPath is a tremendous organization. They've been in Woburn a long time. Paul always speaks well of them. I've known some of the people who were volunteers there, and they always speak well of them also. So I hope he's in Central Square in Cambridge getting signatures today, freezing his butt off. But he has to do that if that's what he believes in, and get the casino bill repealed. Thanks for watching. Next time.